There's an African proverb I love, and it says, when you're dancing with joy, sorrow lies asleep in the other room. Also potentially terrifying if you focus on the sorrow. But what it illuminated for me was that nothing lasts forever, good or bad. And I didn't want to just survive this worst thing that had happened to me. I wanted to thrive. I wanted this to be worth something. And so I left an impressive but uninspiring job and decided to pursue my true passions. I realized that I'm gay and had a great time bursting out of that closet. I traveled the world. I danced on tables in Hong Kong and watched the sunrise in Istanbul. I built a career on my superpowers. I started a business and I began dating again. I was back and better than ever. My setback had been the setup for an epic comeback. And then 5 years ago, on vacation with friends in Vegas, I experienced what I now know to be common symptoms of colon cancer. Don't Google that. I was admitted to the local hospital where the attending told me it's probably just a polyp. Don't Google that either. A platelet transfusion and an emergency colonoscopy later, and I heard, I'm sorry, we don't have better news. We found a tumor. They asked me if I wanted to stay in Vegas for treatment, but I declined after an orderly told me that if she had gotten sick and fallen out in that hospital, that she would go somewhere else. And so like many, I left Vegas confused, alone, wearing clothes that weren't mine, and owing somebody thousands of dollars. And I flew home to hear the words, you have cancer. Stage 3B, to be exact. Now, I was sure that the 3 wasn't good, but I assumed that much like algebra, that if they were tossing the alphabet in the mix, this was not a good sign. I remember the quality of light, how still the room got, how quiet. And I freaked out. I ran laps around the exam room, wailing in fear and grief, until my doctor put his hand on my shoulder and said, you can make it. We can beat this. I know how you're feeling. I'm a survivor too. And he pointed to the blue ribbon on his lapel. The year that followed was the worst year of my life. I woke up daily wondering if I was going to die. Too scared to Google the prognosis for my diagnosis. Radiation, chemo, 2 surgeries. The terror, and then the peace that comes with staring your own mortality in the face. And I realized, eventually, that I was lucky. I'd been on vacation with a friend who was also a cancer survivor. Lucky. On that same trip, a nurse who knew exactly what to do. Lucky. My surgeon was a survivor. Lucky. But taped inside the elevator doors at 5 a.m. on the morning of my first surgery, the 23rd Psalm. Divine. It seemed that even in this, the worst thing that had happened to me, there were signs that this setback could be a setup for a comeback. You know how the story goes. I'm still here, 4 years out from the worst year of my life. And I believe my purpose is to help those who will journey through the valley after me. And the power of perspective is that you win it, you earn it in battle. But once it's won, it only grows stronger. I had the honor of being with my mother when she heard the words, you have cancer. not 18 months after she had nursed me through my final treatment. And to walk with her through the valley of the shadow of death, all the more capable for having traversed those same roads myself. But if she were here, she would tell us that she had had a blast. She danced on tables in Egypt and watched the sunrise in Morocco. And she will remind us that we're not supposed to get out of this thing called life alive. But we are meant to get through it together. And so I ask you to consider, in your darkest hours, when you are wrestling with that thing that you think you cannot survive, what if your setback could be the setup for your comeback?